Alrighty my guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Today we are going to be doing Block Sumo tips and tricks on how to win Block Sumo Duels games. Because obviously I am the best Minecraft player. And I just murdered an AFK person. I am not toxic at all, guys. That is lies by the media. But anyways, I guess I should get into the first tip and trick. So the first tip and trick is about the very beginning of the game. You gotta know how to play the very beginning of the game so that you can know how to play the rest of the game. But actually, hopefully you don't have to play that much of a game if you know how to do a very good beginning of the game, because then you can make the game shorter. But that didn't make any sense. So I'm going to go and start actually explaining this stuff so that you guys don't click off of my video. My first thing for the very beginning of the game, the first thing you need to do is you need to know where you're going. Because if you don't know where you're going, it gives people opportunities to use your undecidedness and murder you because of it. Because they'll be able to take advantage of the fact that you don't know where you're going and then set something up and kill you. So you have to know where you're going. You have to have like a set path that you've decided on. Once you see what map you have to know exactly which direction you're going. Like, I have planned out that I'm going to go on this path, which there are so many paths that you can take on each map that it really doesn't matter that much. But you just have to know which one you're taking so you don't get confused mid-one and try going a different direction after you've already started one direction. It is so difficult to play game and talk and think at the same time. Why is that difficult? Maybe that means I'm not good at the Block Sumo game. But of course I'm the best, obviously. That is why you click on this video. Getting a little bit off topic here. The idea is that you know where you're going so that you can go there fast and efficiently. But the second part of that first step, so you know where you're going. You have to get there first though. That's the second part, is getting there first. Because if you know where you're going and you know how you're gonna get there, you want to make sure you get there fast. Like, don't clip on things. You don't want to do that, because then you'll get there not first, and that is not good because of reasons. And those reasons are, I have reasons. No, those reasons are that when somebody gets to the island wherever they're gonna go first, then that means that they can sort of set it up, like place blocks in the correct positions. They can place blocks in the correct positions so that they can just like basically hit you off in 2 hits, right? Like this person decided to go over there, and they're there first, so I'm obviously not just gonna rush over there. So instead, I'm gonna turn around and set myself up on this island, and you see what I'm doing is I'm placing blocks behind me so that I don't get hit into the void. And then I set it up so that I can block trap them really easily. So basically that is just in-game proof that it is important to know where you're going, and it's important to get there first. So, know where you're going, get there first. The reason that's important is so that you can hit them off in like 2 hits. However, you're not always gonna get somewhere first. So you have to be able to like figure it out. If you have to get to an island that the other opponent has already gotten to, then you have to know how to avoid their traps. So you have to look at where they are, you have to look at what they've set up, what blocks they've placed, what they're trying to do, so that you can avoid whatever trap it is that they have placed for you. So chances are, if it's a competent player that you're playing against and they've already gotten to a place first, they're gonna try and set up some sort of trap, some sort of blocks that they can use to stop your momentum and hit you off in like 2 hits. So you want to figure out how to deal with that. You want to sort of like get around those blocks or find a way, like a different way to get there than they're expecting you to take, so that you can sort of avoid whatever it is they've set up. Let's go. So really, it's just get places as fast as possible and know where you're going, alright? Now, there's a third part to this first piece of advice, which means that, yeah, I know it is a really long piece of advice, but the third part is have multiple routes to places. Because, like, it sort of goes hand in hand with the other one, you have to, like, know how to get around things, get around people, come from a different location, which means you have to know multiple different routes to get to different places. Like on this map, look, on this map, if you spawn there, you can run through the center. And then when you run through the center, you can go that pile, or just jump here. Or you can go on the sides and go there. There's so many different routes that a person can take on every single map. And you should know so many of them so that you can figure out which one is the best one for each scenario. And then use that in order to win the game. So yes, recap. At the very beginning of the game, figure out where you're going and how you're going to get there. Then, get there first. And if you don't get there first, deal with it. And the third part was, make sure you have many different ways to get to each place that you need to go, so that you can deal with it when you're not first. Basically, it all ties together. So that was the first piece of advice in 3 parts, because, you know, I have so much advice. I'm a wise old sage. But that's a perfect segue into the second piece of advice, which is to know your surroundings, know what is going on. And the first part of knowing your surroundings is knowing what power-ups the other player has. And basically this requires a little bit of memory, so if you have like a terrible memory, like you're literally a goldfish, you cannot remember anything beyond 3 seconds, then I'm sorry. But there's really nothing I can do for you. But, yeah, remember what power-ups people have. Because if you know what power-ups people have, you can sort of predict what they're gonna try and do to you with those power-ups. And, see, like, they didn't know I had that bat. And that bat was the reason they took so much KB. So if you know what power-ups people have, you're gonna be able to, like, avoid situations. So, you know, I'm definitely great at my own tactics and don't require help. Oh, are they AFK? They're AFK, okay. Fair enough. Let's just win this game. No, they're not AFK. They're moving. I don't know. Whatever. I have a fireball, and they should have noticed that. Oh, I'm kind of scared because I think this guy's good based on... Actually, no, I don't think I played against them before. Actually, potentially, I don't know. Okay, so I take it all back. I'm kidding. Okay, but in relation to knowing your surroundings in Block Sumo, that's also, you know, it's very important, and you can see me doing this next trick actually quite a bit in most of my games, because I go into free look so often. That when I was on Hypixel, I was like, wait a minute, I can't do free look, and I didn't realize how much I used it until now. But basically, yeah, I go into free look, like, anytime I'm stacking up, I do like that, see my surroundings. If I'm, like, behind a barrier, I'll go into free look, you know. I do not mean to click C, because that is my zoom button. But that part of know your surroundings is to know where the other player is. Because the first part of know your surroundings was know what power-ups the player has. Know where the other player is, because that will help you know when they're gonna jump on you. And that's important, because if you know when they're gonna jump on you, then you can avoid getting jumped. And it's good to not get jumped, because then you take less KB if you don't get hit. But yeah, revolutionary ideas, guys. You don't take KB if you don't get hit. Alright, and so then the third part of know your surroundings is know the maps. Know the ins and outs of the maps. Know which parts are flammable. Know when you're standing on top of a block that could disappear with a shear or with a fireball. I feel like that's kind of obvious, like know what you're standing on, you just look down. It's pretty easy, but it's kind of like not necessarily something that people think about that often, is know... What's that cow sound? Is know what you're standing on, because if you don't... Okay, they turned around fast, and I did not expect to not take KB upwards. So know what you're standing on, because that can help you with fireballs. If somebody has a fireball, because again, that's know your surroundings by knowing the power-ups that they have, but know your surroundings by knowing what you're standing on can help you when you know what power-ups they have. this is all coming together. Also, this person seems to be decent at the game, which means that I might need to focus in order to win this game. Or I could just not win. You know. There we have two points. One of them is know where you're going and what you're doing. And the second one is know what the other person is doing and where the other person is going. I feel like these are pretty basic ideas. Thinking back on it right now, like this is pretty basic. I'm not going off of a script. If people started doing these, then people would be better at the game. The third thing to get better at the game mode is to play a lot. Okay, so if you play a lot, then you'll kind of get used to certain strategies, and you'll sort of be able to predict what strategy a player is doing, or what sort of things. You can predict a player's actions if you play the game a lot and know the strategies. So that allows you to like have forethought and to know, you know, what's going on, and so what you can prevent. But also playing a lot really just like gets you used to certain like skills. You can sort of get into the groove, get knowledge of what you're doing, and you'll just like get used to playing the game really, because you'll be able to like know what you're doing and know the motions, and you'll be able to get like, because you improve the more you play. So the next strategy is gonna sound as if I'm just like promoting my own channel and telling you guys to watch me, but watching YouTube videos on Bed Wars Practice Club is a legitimate way for you guys to improve, because you get to see how other people play, you get to see what strategies other people do, and you get to sort of like evaluate, see what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and then you can figure out what you need to do and what you need to improve on and what you need to work on. And I know that sometimes it can be difficult to find Bed Wars Practice YouTubers. I've had that struggle myself quite a bit. It's called me a nerd, okay. Well, it just means that I'm smarter than you. So I'm here to recommend some Bed Wars Practice YouTubers. Obviously me. I am obviously the best Bed Wars Practice YouTuber. But on a more serious note, like, there are a bunch of other Bed Wars Practice YouTubers that I've found. I haven't memorized the names of all of them. But you've got Building DR, who does a lot of beta block sumo. So if that's what you're into, then you can find Building DR on YouTube at Building DR. And then there's Rarmy2, who does a lot of things. A lot of different kinds of stuff. So I totally did not click Q with a different player, because I queued against a B person, and they're actually just too good at the game, and I kept losing. That's definitely not what happened. So anyways, guys, oh, they didn't die. Okay, alright, this is perfect. I have to do an outro. Can you just die for me, please? I need to do an outro. Die for me. Okay. Anyway, guys, click the button if it's red. Do not click it if it's gray, like that block right there. But I think this person is going AFK, or no, they're pretending to go AFK. That's fine with me, because I can just always just jump on them. Oh, they are AFK. Alright, well, click the button if it's stone gray. No, click it if it's red, not gray.